Hi, I'm Dr. Lara, and welcome to another week of Channeled Angel Messages. Before I get started, I just want to thank you for sending in your questions. After the reading, I will be answering another question. So thank you for sending those in, and if you have any more, please keep them coming. All right, so sit back and relax and see what resonates for you. Okay, so first of all, I'm seeing like a cocoon, like a white cocoon that is surrounding actually each person on the planet. Excuse me. And uh, the message here today is to let you know that you and your loved ones are safe. There's a lot of fear that's being projected onto the planet right now. A lot of fear is coming up within each individual, and it's fear of what's going to happen with the elections here in the states. It's fear of being sick, fear of getting older, fear for our loved ones. Like, there's so much that is being pummeled into us, but it's also um, tapping into our own fear that we've been holding on to for so long. So if you feel like you have more fear than you normally have, it's because it's being triggered, which is a good thing, because when that comes up, whenever you get triggered with something, it's coming up to be transformed and released. And the only way to release that fear is to go through it. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. If you let the fear run your life, then it's not a very good life to live. But then you have to face the fear, and that's really scary. But they really want you to know that you're protected, and it's also part of the human experience as well. And they want to let you know that your loved ones are protected as well. Okay. And this is like another side of it too. It feels like a lot of people are starting to feel emotions that they've never felt before, or they've have these thoughts that they don't know where they're coming from. And that is okay too. It's safe for you to feel your emotions. It's safe for you to be vulnerable. Okay. Choose who you're going to be vulnerable with. That's another thing. Just because you have family, just because you have a spouse, just because you have friends, it doesn't mean that you're always safe to be vulnerable with those people. So feel into it and choose who you want to be vulnerable with. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, it feels like there's some people that are still a little bit confused about their path. And yeah, oh, they're showing me like the rug got pulled out from underneath from a lot of people. Like, it's really like in our faces right now. If you are living your life that is not in alignment with your soul, you're going to be feeling it. If you haven't already felt it, you will be feeling it, because we are being called to a higher vibration, to a higher level of integrity within ourselves, and to really follow what brings us joy, because we've been conditioned to work hard and work at this job because it brings in security, and all of this stuff, and they're showing me like crumbling, like all of these constructs that we have been given, they're crumbling, and people are starting to live from their heart space more. And when you're so used to living from your mind, and then you start to live from your heart space, it gets kind of confusing, and it's a little scary. But just know that you are on the right path. Okay, it doesn't matter where you are, whether you are still in a job that you don't like, whether you are thinking of getting out of that job, or whether you are starting a new job, whatever it is, or relationship, you are on the right path. And it's very important for you to understand you are always on the right path. There's no way you're not on the right path. Even if it feels like you've strayed away from what's true for you, It's because there's lessons that you need to learn. There's awarenesses that need to come through that. There's turmoil and there's heartache, but when you have that, when you work through it, you come away with wisdom. And then when you have that wisdom, you have this light, this wisdom that can lead others on their path as well. Okay? Yes, you do have a purpose. Yes, you are here for a reason. Doesn't mean that you have to make whatever your gifts and talents are into a business, but who you are and how you show up in your conversations, how you show up with your energy, that's why you're here. You're here to help humanity ascend. And even if you don't feel like you are ascending, and your light makes a difference. Who you are makes a difference. And they want to thank you for that, for being here on the planet at this time, because yeah, they're using the word exciting. They're not using the word scary because that's from the ego space. But the angels are saying it's a very exciting time right now, because depending on where you see or where your focus is, you can see a lot of good coming onto the planet. A lot of good is happening in the planet. Like with nature, so many more birds are back. The bees, they're not on the endangered list anymore. You know, people are looking for ways to serve others. They're looking for ways to help the environment. And when you start searching for the positive that's happening on the planet, that's what's going to be shifting from fear to knowing, from it being scary to excitement. Okay? It's all good. we're headed in the right direction, and so are you. Okay? All right. So those were the messages. So now I'm going to go into one of the questions. And before I do that, I just want to let you know that if it resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, great. Everybody has their own truth, but this is what is going to come through. I have no idea what it is, so we'll see what happens. Okay? The question was, when will there be justice for the oppressed? Okay, with a lot of injustices that are happening, what about those people? A couple of videos ago, I talked about the other people that there was going to be justice. They were about karma, but this is about all the other people that are on the planet that are being tortured or killed or suffering. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, they want you to understand that each soul, each human on this planet has a purpose. And it might not be a purpose to raise humanity or the consciousness of humanity or to heal or anything like that. It could be their own individual purpose for their soul's growth. This planet is a place for your soul to evolve and to grow. And before we come down here, we have a choice of what it is we want to work through, what it is we want to experience, so we can grow as a soul. And a lot of times, we come to this planet and we experience such heartache and such pain because we dive deep into that, and that helps us bring the awareness and the strength and the wisdom. Now, for the masses, what they're telling me, the mass consciousness of people that are suffering, with famine or through an earthquake and they lose everything. That's a mass consciousness of those souls. And part of their purpose, yes, it is to evolve, but it's also, I'm getting the chills, it's also to ignite compassion for the rest of us. Because oftentimes, if you notice, when something horrific happens, people that can, they come together to help those people that are in need, like 9/11, like the earthquakes. You know, people come together to help these other people. And it kind of, they're showing me it kind of balances things out, because there are such atrocities that are happening on the planet, and we see that, and then our love and compassion goes to that, and we always want to help. Now, what they're saying with this, and this is kind of a tricky thing, is when we see people suffering, sometimes we go into pitying them, or we go into anger, and those lower vibrations of, oh, it's horrible, it's heartache, you know. And what they want to remind us of is that you can have compassion for others without dipping into that lower frequency of pain. Because that, when you stay in that lower frequency of pain, it kind of keeps you in that energy with them. And they're showing me like a hole, okay? Like a big dirt hole. And let's say there's people inside this hole that want help. When we do that, if we want to get those people out of the hole, we don't jump into the hole and then push them out. We throw them a lifeline. We stay up here out of the hole, and we throw them a lifeline so they can pull themselves out. And it's the same with emotion. When something tragic happens, if we go into that mode of pain and suffering and pity and all of that, and revenge and anger, it keeps us in that hole with them. But if we come from compassion, and we're able to detach from that lower part of that emotion, we can help them, we can hold that lifeline for them and pull them out energetically with that energy. Okay, so they're saying it's all serving a purpose. It's not always going to be this way. And they're also telling me not everything you see through the media, through these channels, is real. It's not always real. You know, think about that, especially with AI. Things can be created with AI, and when we watch something, we're being programmed. And if we're being programmed to look at something painful or something tragic, what does that do? It keeps us in that lower frequency. Okay, they're not saying stick your head in the sand, but when something happens that's tragic, if you can make the shift from, oh, that's so horrible, to how can I help, that changes the energy. And when more people shift over to that space, and we don't give our power away to the media and believe everything that we watch, that's when things are going to make a shift. And they already are shifting. A lot of people are already realizing that. But you don't have to go into someone else's pain in order to have compassion. You can have compassion, but not go into that. Okay, so that was the answer to that question. Thank you for sending that in. And of course, I love all of your comments and connecting with you, so please keep those coming. And if you have any other questions, please let me know. Have a blessed day.